Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Q&A video where I answer your questions. And I think people felt a little guilty because last week I only got like 2 questions, so this week I got a lot of questions. Either you get no questions or you get a whole bunch. It's the way it works. I don't know. But this should be a pretty good video because I have lots of stuff to show, and we're going to have some fun. So the first question comes from Danny H. And he wrote, what Golden Age comics had a lot of graphic shootings, stabbings, blood, etc.? Now, whenever I think of these topics, like graphic shootings, stabbings, blood, etc., that kind of like graphic violence, I think of the crime comics. And I'll give you a really good example. And this one's pretty intense, actually. One title that's really good, and it's actually very affordable, depending on the cover. Some of them can be expensive, but like this one. This is Crime Does Not Pay. This is Crime Does Not Pay 36. And now, when you said sort of graphic shootings, so this one is very graphic. You get the 2 cops, and you got the girl. She's running around, running away, shooting back at the cops. But this guy, he's covering his eye and blood's pouring down. He's been shot in the eye. This is Charles Biro cover. And it's just, you got this guy over here. It's all bleeding and dying. Like just a whole bunch of stuff going on. Like his covers, Biro's covers are just very graphic. Got another dead guy over there. So this is when I think of violent comics from the Golden Age, I think of these ones. Now, there's other series that I collect that have also some violence, but I'm going to show you some more crime ones, and then I'll show you some of the ones that I also like. You got Spy Cases, another one where they're like just craziness going on. You got the guy and the girl, and he's got like a machine gun. He's like shooting all the people. They're getting stuck in the barbed wire, and just lots of fun stuff going on. So this is Spy Cases. Another one is another Crimes Does Not Pay. Here's another. You got the girl. You got this guy. I don't know what's happened to him. He's like, he looks like he's dead. He looks like he's got a lot of holes in him, or something's going on. And then you got this girl and guy fighting. He's got a gun. She's got a knife. Another Charles Biro cover. That's Crime Doesn't Pay 40. And then another really great title was Fight Against Crime. And this is, kind of a mixture of horror / crime. You got this like decomposing skeleton cop, and then another cop guy is gonna get probably the same treatment. So just a really cool comic. Again, these a title that I'm actually really getting into right now is The Perfect Crime. And you got, like, again, guy's been shot, bleeding out, gun there. Just a lot of violence. And a lot of these crime books would tell real stories of crimes that happened, and that one of the things that they really wanted was to show the most crazy crimes or the most intense crimes, in an effort to sensationalize stories. Like it's sort of like nowadays whenever the media picks a story, they pick the most gruesome or graphic one that they can, because that's what sells. Well, that's the same is what they would do in these crime books. But they would always try to show that the criminals, got their comeuppance, and a lot of them would get killed in the process too. So, yeah. And just one more is another perfect crime. You got the gun, and it's got the smoke coming from the gun and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a really great one. That's probably the bank teller, or I don't know what it is, but yeah, just a really cool book. A lot of these crime ones did have, as I said, very graphic violence. Sometimes they would even include photos from actual crime scenes in some of the books. So yeah, but a title that I liked, or a series that I enjoyed, which is, I'm not sure if you can see it. No, you probably can't see it, but it's behind me. Is JoJo, and a lot of Fox Publications stuff. They would have very graphic things. It was more not necessarily guns and stuff, but more like spears or like jungle related violence and pretty graphic stuff. And so JoJo comics, Rula, um, Zanga, like there's just so many titles. And they were really cool. And some really great artists worked on those books. So like Jack Kamen and Matt Baker, so just some stuff that I enjoyed. But the crime books definitely had a lot of the shooting, stabbings, and blood. Definitely a lot of that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those ones. Next question comes from Mr. E, the Low Grade King. Do you ever collect comics based on movies? Yes. Actually, a lot of the influence for what I buy in terms of comics is movies that I like or TV series that I like. I get very influenced by that, and I want to go out and buy those comics. I like getting all the characters' first appearances and stuff like that. And so I do get influenced by movies. So I'm going to show you a few that I have. And these I've actually had since they came out. Like these are like literally 30, 40 years old. So this one is Police Academy. I loved the Police Academy series. I thought it was really funny. So this is Police Academy #1. And it's just kind of goofy. It's all the different characters. What's his name? I want to remember. I can't even remember the actor's name. A very famous actor. This guy right here. This guy. I'm just trying to remember his name. But it's basically cops being goofy. It was like, very silly humor. I enjoyed it a lot, though. And then we got Roger Rabbit. I really was a big fan of Jessica Rabbit. I thought Roger Rabbit was really cool. I just liked the whole idea of, solving that kind of a crime in the cartoon world. I just thought that was really interesting. So Roger Rabbit #1. And one that you actually mentioned in the question, which I didn't say read the whole question, but was The Last Starfighter. A movie that I really liked. I just liked the idea of the movie. So for those people that are not familiar with the story, it's basically there's video games that we play, and those are and the video game that he plays is The Last Starfighter. And basically it's a game where you have to fight against the bad guys and move your ship accordingly and all this kind of stuff, and be really fast on your with your hands and reflexes. And the game is actually not really a game. It's actually a training thing for where these intergalactic aliens are trying to basically find recruits. And they basically find that this guy is awesome at this game, and they recruit him into their military. So it's a very cool story. I really enjoyed it. The Last Starfighter #1. And this one is another, like I collect, as I said, I get influenced by movies and I enjoy watching movies. And I really, end up buying a lot of the comics related to them. When I was a kid, I was really into Disney movies. And one of the Disney movies that I really liked was Lady and the Tramp. So this is an example of another influence. So this is the first appearance of Lady and the Tramp. This is Dell 4-color 629. Not actually a very affordable book. A lot of these, even though it's a first appearance of, kind of major characters, it's a very affordable book. And it's just a fun one. I really loved the spaghetti scene. That's like the most considered one of the most romantic kisses in movie or cinema history, is the two dogs where they're eating the spaghetti and the noodle kind of goes between them, and they eat it, and then they gradually they sort of kiss each other. It's just a really romantic scene. I actually like The Simpsons made a parody of it where the two dogs are eating the noodle and they gradually get closer to eating this noodle, and instead of like kissing each other, they're fighting for the noodle. It was just really cute. I kind of like that. But I did love Lady and the Tramp. It was a very good story. That's when Disney knew how to make movies back in the day. I'll leave it at that. So yeah, so those are some. I actually have a lot more in my collection of movie-related comics, but I figured I'd show a few. I actually have like Lord of the Rings and a whole bunch of things as well that are movie-related ones. The next question comes from Frank Hubel. Do you collect Legion of Superheroes? No, I do not actually. I do not collect Legion of Superheroes, but I do have one book from Legion of Superheroes. And what do you think of Mike Grell artwork? So Mike Grell, I should say. His artwork, I checked it out. I wasn't familiar with him as an artist. What's weird is like during the 80s, 70s, like 70s and 80s, I didn't really collect superheroes. So I wasn't really into those eras of superheroes. I was more into Disney at that time. Like I was, that's because of my age. And it wasn't really until the 90s that I got really into superheroes and stuff like that. So I kind of missed that 80s and 70s kind of boat in terms of superhero content. So Mike Grell was really in that era. But I do have one book of Legion of Superheroes, and I'll be showing this again later this week, is this one. This is from 1988. I think it was a cool cover. I picked it up. I never read it. So I just think it's a cool cover. But this is the only Legion of Superheroes that I have. I just didn't really get into Legion of Superheroes. I probably will go back and read a lot of these books. I every so often what I'll do is I'll pick a title, like randomly so actually, and I'll just read like the whole series. I have yet to do that with Legion of Superheroes though. So sorry. But I did check out Mike Grell's artwork, and I did notice that it is really good. I actually really enjoy his artwork. I kind of reminds me of George Perez a little bit, like, but with it, similar kind of like very detailed, and I just find it very good. So Mike Grell, I wasn't familiar with. Now I learned something myself on this one. The second question you asked was, do you have any Derrick Chu's Supergirl covers? I can't find number 41 and 42. So I looked into that. Actually, I do have the earlier Supergirl ones, but I can't find them. I was like looking through my boxes, and I don't know where I have a box, like a long box, and I can't find, which is weird. I can't find a long box with all my unsorted DC books, and I can't find it. So I'm still trying to find that box. But I did find some of my short box with DC unsorted ones, and it did have some Derrick Chu stuff, but it's not Supergirl. It's Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, and I do like Derrick Chu, so I actually bought a lot of the Harley Quinns that he did because I enjoyed them so much. One sec here, let me just pull out the ones that I had set aside. So here, Derrick Chu. So yeah, so these are all the Harley Quinn ones. I thought they were really great. I like his style actually. Here's another one. So I wish I had the Supergirl ones handy, but I do have them. I just don't have them handy. And I'll tell you about 41 and 42 in a second here. So these are all the, I like this one. It's like, she's got like the space helmet on and stuff, and she's going after the soda bottle. I think it's just really fun. So yeah, so these are all Derrick Chu's covers for Harley Quinn. Just quickly, with Derrick Chu, for Supergirl 41, 42, I actually looked for those ones. I think what happened is they never printed them. Now, number 40 did come out, and I think it was like May of 2020, so it's been a while. I think what happened was, if you think about it, that's during COVID. And I think just the like 41 and 42 didn't get pushed out because of COVID. Um, I actually checked on my comic shop for it, and they didn't even show the images for it. So usually my comic shop is good about, you can kind of research things and find which covers correspond to things and when the publishing dates were for certain comics. And they don't list dates for 41 and 42 of Supergirl from the 2016 series. So I have a feeling that they never were released. Now, I checked on Go Collect for 41 and 42, and what I found was that they did have images for them, but there was no books on the census, which generally means that they probably were never released, because usually you'd see one or two copies on the census at least, but to see nothing is kind of, it's probably that they never got released is what I'm thinking is what happened with that one. Okay, so next question comes from Michael Renteria. Renteria. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right without brutalizing it too much. If I did mess it up, I'm sorry. I really do try. What do you think about DC Seb McKinnon covers? So Seb McKinnon did Poison Ivy, and he did some detective covers. Not too many, actually. I do not have those books handy either, because it's in the same long box as the ones with the Derrick Cho stuff, or Derrick Chu stuff. I did find, oh, actually, here's another Derrick Chu Poison Ivy. But yeah, I couldn't find the covers for Seb McKinnon. I actually do like them. They're very almost impressionist style for the ones where it's like, the figure is very small and it's very artsy kind of scene for the Poison Ivy one. And I really do like it. I did pick it up at the time when it came out, which is only recently. But I have no idea where it is. I have to sort through my comics. The problem is I keep on buying stuff and then I get more and more disorganized. So I really do have to stop buying stuff and get organized, because I can never find anything. So yeah, I'm sorry that I have none to show. I'd really like to show those covers because they are quite nice. And I do really like his artwork. So Michael, Seb McKinnon, really great covers. Okay, and he did for Poison Ivy and Detective Comics, for the people that aren't familiar with him. And they're from the recent series, I should say, too. Okay, K. Munin said, what do you think of the Demon Wars comic? So there was actually multiple series. I've only read one comic from all of the series. I actually have most of the Demon Wars series, but the only one I've actually read is this one. And this is Demon Wars Secret Sin. And so I read this one. Now, if you look at the cover, it's actually very, almost explains the whole comic in a weird way. And I'll explain that. The style is very similar to the artwork that's inside the comic. And it's very, that kind of Japanese style. This is Peach Momoko, and she did the cover and the interior art. Now, the story is based on Japanese legends or myths from about, I think it's about, it even gives like the stories inside, from about the 1300s to 1500s. It's a bit confusing reading it, I tell you the truth. It's kind of like she's in a dream world, then she's in our world, and she's in a dream world. And it's a little bit disorganized. But basically the idea is that masks, can kind of give you powers and stuff like that. there's this like jaw mask that you know, if you remove it, then they don't have the powers and stuff like that. But very interesting story because it does give you a little sense of Japanese mythology, and I think that's interesting. Overall, I would say it's okay. I wouldn't say it's the best I would ever read. I wish that they kind of fleshed it out a bit more and made it a little bit more coherent, because I find that it goes from one thing to the next very, very quickly without really any explanation. Like I find that and or any like it doesn't really make sense, the motivations or why things are happening, and partly that is because it is a dream sequence, and that makes it always a little bit more confusing. But yeah, so I thought it was okay. I mean, it's interesting. I do like the idea of learning about other cultures and about especially you know, historical stories. So you know, I thought it was interesting, and they do have good write-ups on the beginning of the book and at the end of the book, explaining a little bit of the mythology. I thought that was nice. So yeah, so Peach Momboko's Demon Wars was okay. Okay, you know, I wouldn't run out and get it. If, I just picked it up because you know, I think her artwork can be interesting. So yeah, so that's my kind of review of Demon Wars. I thought it was okay. Mike Swintel, do you have any of the Blast Off Girls issues? No, but I wish I had found out about it earlier. I saw these covers. They're really great Good Girl art covers. So I'll probably be picking up some of these Blast Off Girl comics. I think some of the covers are just really, really fun. So I'll be probably doing that in the future. So you'll see, you will see those books probably in a future unboxing. Now, from what I can understand, the Blast Off Girls comics were a Kickstarter, or like where it wasn't released through like some kind of distribution. Like, so you couldn't buy it at your local comic shop. You had to go through the Kickstarter process. But the covers, I think, are really interesting. I'm not sure what the stories are like or what the interior art is like, but the covers look pretty fun. So they're a bit pricey, like anywhere from like $30 to like $90. I saw some of the covers go for. So I thought that was a little bit harsh, but the print runs are like 100, so maybe that justifies it. But I thought very interesting covers, and I might pick up a few in the future. So that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a question that you want me to answer next week, and I'll really try to do my best on answering these questions, all you have to do is put it in the comments below and I'll answer it next week. So again, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Bye for now.